MEG. I want to take this opportunity to go over with you some of the expectations here at North MEG for this upcoming year as we talk about the Right to Responsibility Handbook. My name is Mr. Hayes. If you haven't had a chance to meet, you will see me out and about and also out in between the hallways during class changes, so please stop in and introduce yourself. To all of our upperclassmen, you've heard some of this before, but we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to hear it again. So very briefly, we're going to run through some of the things that are high points of what you would see in the Right to Responsibility Handbook. Also want to let you know that this handbook is available online for you to view, and at the end of this taping, you will receive a copy of the signature page so you can sign off that you have viewed this video. So first, let's start off. Movement around campus. This is a huge concern for us in the beginning of the day and throughout the day. Students come here for one thing, and that's to be educated, and that can't happen unless you're in the classrooms. So we're going to minimize that movement as much as possible. First of all, first thing in the morning, we have 3 areas that you can come to school and attend in those areas until 7 o'clock. Then we transition to our classrooms at 7:05. The first area that we can go to is the cafeteria. The second is the gym, and the third is the auditorium. These are the 3 areas, if you show up before 7 o'clock, that you need to go to. You will remain in there until the bell rings to release you to first block. If you are participating with our universal breakfast, we will be monitoring the cafeteria to make sure that it is not too crowded in there. So for those of you that get here early, have completed eating, please understand that we will ask you to get up and to leave the cafeteria to go to one of the other 2 sites so we have an opportunity to provide seating for those that are coming in on later buses. Also want to talk about one of the key things for me here in making sure that there's a strong relationship between our students and also our teachers is students here are expected to respect all adults on campus and comply to any request of those adults. Very simply, nobody here is going to ask you to do anything that would put you in harm's way, so nothing is unreasonable to ask. So what we need to make sure that you're doing is understand that your process in that is to say yes and continue on and move and do what you need to do. Anything that would be considered disrespectful, talking back, anything like that, that will result in some form of a referral process, which then has a disciplinary consequence that comes with it. Also want to talk to you for a few minutes about any type of altercations. Now, we want to make sure that we're very specific in this because we are not just talking about a physical altercation. We are talking about verbal altercations. We are talking about altercations that are taking place through social media. So basically, if there is a conversation between, let's say, 2 females on Facebook or wherever, and that kind of starts to get heated, and there's a comment in those statements about, I'm going to get you at school, or we'll talk about that tomorrow. That just linking it to being here on school allows us to go ahead and apply a disciplinary process to that. If anything were to come to school and the 2 young ladies happen to get into any type of a conversation that's of a negative nature, then we're going to step in and we're going to go ahead and make sure that we do what we need to do as far as disciplinary processes. Also want you to understand that there is not an email, there is not a Twitter account, there is not a Facebook account that we cannot crack. We work closely with our Huntersville Police and also for Charlotte the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. If we have to, they can go in, they can pull anything on any social media that's out there. We've actually used this in many of our board hearings that we've gone to, and I'll tell you what, students that end up with that, we found out that 9 times out of 10, they get days added, not taken away. So I want to make sure that you understand that. And when I look at an altercation, ladies and gentlemen, that means anything. If you throw a pencil across the room at somebody and it hits somebody, that's considered an altercation because you're making a gesture or so forth towards another student that is inappropriate. It doesn't need to happen, okay? If you are telling us that you're playing, there is no such thing as playing, not where people are wrestling or touching each other or slapping or anything like that. Anytime that you make contact with another person here, we are going to go ahead and apply disciplinary action to that because what happens is 2 friends start off and they tap each other, and then the tap comes to a stronger hit, and then the stronger hit turns into something that we don't like. And when we don't like something, now we want to go back after somebody else, and that can't happen here. That is not why you come to school. So to alleviate that and make sure that doesn't occur here, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we handle everything on a serious manner. Okay, disruptions in disruptive behavior. Understand that when you walk into a classroom, it's on. Now, you go through the threshold of that door, class is started. And what that means is that if you have any type of electronic device, it is turned off. You're focused on what you need to do. At any point in time that electronic device is on at any time during class, and understand I say on and out, at any point in time during the class, the teachers will have the opportunity to take that away from you. The first time it's given back to you at the front office. The second time it's only returned to a parent. And the third time can result in a disciplinary action that will follow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's simple. If your teacher does not have you using any type of electronic device in their classroom for instructional purposes, it shouldn't be out. It needs to be stowed away and put up. And we don't want to hear any excuses about, well, I forgot to turn it off or I didn't do this. Now, on occasions, you might accidentally walk into the room and have the cell phone still on, and you might need to turn it off. Well, here's what you need to do. That's the way we handle that thing in a mature manner. We raise our hand. We ask the teacher if they can come over for a second, and we say, my cell phone's on. I'd like to turn it off to make sure it doesn't disrupt class. Is that okay? And then they'll go ahead and let you do that. That's the way of handling things as young men and young ladies. The next thing that we want to talk about is also that, like I said before, just the little things that happen that cause disruptions in the room. And that goes all the way down to not having my homework completed, engaging teachers in conversations that are not needed during the class time. Okay? Make sure that if you need to speak to a teacher about something that's specific to your needs with academic concerns, make sure that you set up a meeting with them after class, talk to them about a time that you can maybe speak to them out in the hallway. Your business needs to be your business, and your business doesn't need to be out there in front of everybody else. The teachers want to respect that, but in respecting that, they have to have your help. You need to help them by making an appointment time or asking them to speak to you out in the hallway briefly. Now, I also want to tell you about something else. At any point in time these things happen, we have to provide some form of a discipline. Do understand that part of that is we have what's called a alternative to suspension program. We have ISS and we have an alternative suspension program. Now, in that alternative suspension program, what happens is if you've been assigned out of school suspension and it's a minor offense or it's your first time having something, we actually will allow you to come to school. Your parents have to bring you here, and we'll let you go out into the trailer. We'll provide work for you out there from your teachers. And what happens is if you are able to complete that successfully, those days of out of school suspension go to in-school suspension, okay? And it helps many people with their days out of school. Now, if that becomes a repetitive piece that's happening, then you end up with out-of-school suspension without an opportunity to attend the alternative to suspension program. Do also know that if you are attending that alternative to suspension program, all electronic devices, anything that's of a personal item to you needs to be left at home. Otherwise, when you come to school, it's going to be taken by the gentleman that's housing that area. It'll be placed in a Ziploc bag and locked up. Okay. Also, while you're in there, you are in straight confined rows where you cannot see anyone to the side or in front of you. And you are in there to do your work. It is not a socializing environment. It is an environment where basically you are removed from the rest of the general population and are in there. Also, that group, once you're in there, you will eat at an alternative time other than everybody else that's inside the cafeteria. Which leads us to a next thing. Ladies and gentlemen, part of the Rights and Responsibility book covers your tasks that you need to do, and part of that is making sure that we have a safe and orderly environment that is also clean. When you're in the cafeteria, you need to make sure that if you anything that you have that's on your tray, make sure that it finds its way to the trash cans. The ladies that are in there, the cafeteria workers, they are not here to clean up after you. And a simple thing is just thinking of it this way. You would not like it if I came to your house, ate dinner, and just basically threw my tray on your living room floor and expected you to pick it up. We don't expect the cafeteria workers here to do that as well. It's simple. When you finish eating, get up, take your tray, put it in the trash can, put it on top, head back to your seat and have the conversations. Gentlemen, it'd be nice if you would help out our young ladies, and if they're sitting beside you, offer to take their tray up as well. It builds good habits. Now, last thing that we're going to talk about also is around tardies. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we pride ourselves on here is that we don't have students that are out wandering about after the bell rings. If you are out and about and that bell rings and you're tardy, you get one. You get one sort of, I made a mistake. After that, you start adding up, which leads to discipline, referrals, and disciplinary action that takes place. Within the first couple of months of school, they are going to be rekeying all of the buildings here on North Meck. I just found out today that once that bell rings on campus, all exterior doors to every hallway automatically drop off and they lock. So you basically cannot get into any buildings. We will go through a sweep, pick you up, take you out to the trailers, and then go ahead and log you in. So the thing about that is we know you guys, y'all like to stop, you like to talk, like to socialize. You got to do it while you're walking to make sure that you get there on time. Other things that we're going to talk about to go along with being tardies and with being in the right place when we're supposed to be there. Each of you will be given, and I say, and given a agenda. In that agenda, in the back of that agenda, you will find hall passes. Those those hall passes allow you to transition on campus without being stopped. Those passes need to be out and visible the entire time that you're out and walking. You cannot transition from point A to point B with just a slip of paper. If you don't have your agenda, then you can't leave class. If you don't have an agenda for the teacher to fill out a time and a destination of where you're going, you cannot leave class. Do not get upset with the teacher when they tell you they cannot do that. You have to take that responsibility. We are giving you the agendas. You don't have to purchase them. Therefore, it is a requirement that you have it here each day. Okay, so just make sure that you have that. Also, want to clearly cover with everybody a very important piece of information. If you tell your teacher that you're going to the bathroom and you end up in the media center, you did not ask to go to the media center. If you ask to go to the bathroom and you're in J Hall and you end up in the bathroom that's on E Hall, you are not going to the bathroom that's assigned to your building area. Now what happens is that is a violation of the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook, which goes down as basically you are in an unauthorized area. And being in an unauthorized area can receive a 2 to 5 day suspension out of school. So make sure that if you're talking with your teacher, wherever you tell them you're going, that's where you have to be, because what we find out is sometimes people like to get some exercise and wander into areas that they don't need to be in. That distracts classes, that distracts people from learning, and that's not what we're going to do here. We're going to make sure that we have a safe and orderly environment, so wherever you ask the teacher, make sure that's where you go, and then you return back. There will also be a time that you leave the class, which that needs to be filled out by you. You don't walk up to your teacher and say, I need to go to the bathroom, and hand them an empty agenda. You need to go ahead and fill out your name, the time, the destination, everything ahead of time. So all you're doing is walking up and getting their initials to sign, and then it is also your responsibility when you come back to make sure that they acknowledge that they see you as you come back in the room, so there's not any question about where you were and for how long. Okay, so no, I took an extra couple of minutes and I'm sneaking into class. You need to make sure that you're up front with the teacher when you return and they have that. So always have those agendas with you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that I'll tell you is that you'll hear me talk throughout the year about being responsible. That is academic and socially. Ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that I would tell you is we have an open framework here of discussion for many of you, and what we ask you to do is this. You are young men and women, and sometimes we don't always see things see eye to eye on things as far as one student to another. We have multiple opportunities here for you to either speak to a counselor, security associate, your teachers, any of the administration. All of us are out during class changes. If at any point in time there is any disheartened conversation that's happening between you and another person, let us know, okay? You need to let us know. Don't let it sit there and build up for a couple of days. Let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a deal with you. Here's what happens. If you have a conflict with another person, if you will bring it to us, we will sit you around the table and we will let you speak as young adults about that issue. If that issue becomes something that's not brought to the attention of an adult, and something is acted out on it, okay, verbally or physically, we will hit you with everything that we can that's in that Rights and Responsibilities Handbook, and to our hands basically are black and blue from writing. So you need to make sure that if you have an opportunity to speak to an adult and let them intervene into that, you need to do that. And the one caveat to that is this: if you bring it to us and we set everybody around the table, no one gets in trouble. Everybody gets up from the table. We basically get everything squashed. You go back to class, get things done like you need to. We communicate with all parties involved, and you stay in your classes. If we hear about something again, we come looking for you and we take care of it with the Rights and Responsibility Handbook. But we do that because we know that we value the time that you're here in school, and we want to make sure that you're focused inside the classroom every day on that instructional pieces that we have here. So the last thing that I would tell you is there is a yellow pages in the handbook. There are many, many things that are covered in there, all the way from anything that's a weapon, which is considered a weapon, and you need to look at that because you would really be shocked at some of the things that are in there, that if you bring them to school, if you have a firecracker that's in your pants pocket that you had from over the weekend, you can be charged with that. If you have anything that has a sharp blade on it for any reason that would resemble even if scissors break and the sharp blade that's on there, that could be considered as a weapon. We want to make sure that we don't have anything here at all. Check your pants pocket, check your book bags. If you go to a friend's house over the weekend, make sure that if there's anything that you're working on projects and so forth, that you take everything out of there and have everything focused on what you need to do only for here at school. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, also understand that all of these rules, all of these processes and things that take place during the regular hours of the school are also extended past the regular school hour days of attendance. So if you're attending any events in the afternoon, we want those events to be safe. We want them to be orderly. At any point in time that they are not either on our own campus or at a campus throughout CMS, you will be held accountable by the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. It is not just between 7:05 and 2:15 that those take place. They take place every single day. Every single time that you walk onto a campus, all of these rules and things are enforced, and so is that Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. And it is your responsibility to go online, take a look at it, make sure that even the little pieces that are in there, that you are familiar with those, so you know what's expected of you here, not only at North Meck, but also in CMS. I appreciate your attention. We hope everyone has a wonderful school year. If you have any questions about anything that was covered in this video, if you will please stop in and see one of us in administration, we'd be more than happy to add any clarity that we need to. Thank you.